people to your business, to you, regardless. You're going to attract the right people. The key is speak at least a little bit in their language. Tell them not what you do, because they don't know anything about what you do, more than likely. Just talk to them about, well, I help people feel better about anxiety, or I coach people if you do some general coaching stuff, or I do maybe Reiki, What do you have?
Well, I think that the thing is that the reason why a lot of MBOs tend to put their certifications first is because they are trying to validate themselves and to say, okay, well, I am enough to help you because I am the 12th goddess circle of all creation under the pyramid of Osiris, and that is fine. That's great if that's what you do. But the thing is that no one knows how to connect their problem to your certification. Mm-hmm. If you're a doctor, see, it's interesting because if you're a general practitioner, let's say, you can go as a customer, you can go to a doctor and go, oh, I know that doctor as a general practitioner can help the common cold, or he could help with my digestive issues or something like that. He can pretty much do that, and then he's going to send me to somebody else. Now, if I go to a specialist, I know that specialist helps me with, let's say, ear, nose, and throat. And so if I'm having an ear, nose, and throat problem, that's the person I'll go to. But they put that out there. That's their specialty. That's what they help people with. And so I wouldn't go to an ear, nose, and throat doctor if I really need to help with common cold. So it's being able to categorize yourself and also going, yes, I am that. This is specifically what I help with. So let yourself know you are enough. You can put your credentials out there, and you worked hard for those credentials. But remember that person has to see themselves in that modality. So,
right.
So you say, okay, so how do I harmonize with my message and with my gifts to be able to bring them to the world? The first thing is you have to have clients. Or you're not a business owner. I mean, let's just be real about that. Yeah, you're a hobbyist, and if you gotta decide, and you may choose right now to decide: am I a hobbyist or am I a business owner? If you are choosing to be a business owner, then take a moment, take a step back, look at the last 10 people that you worked with, even if they were your aunt and your cousin and 3 of your best friends and so on and so forth. And just say, what was I excellent at helping them with? And then go, okay, so this is who these are the pain points that they came to me with, and these are the issues that face them, just like Todd was saying. And this is how I'm really great at helping them. And then you say, okay, in your marketing message, you're saying something like, have you been suffering with chronic fatigue? Do you suffer from consistent depression? Have you been feeling listless? Are your relationships falling apart? In being able to just say, okay, mm-hmm. They can say, that's me. That's me.
Help them self-identify.
Yeah. And then once they identify, then you can say, even in your testimonials, the testimonials can speak to how you helped fix those problems along the way. So it might be, Sally Sue from Sioux Falls, Michigan. Where's Sioux Falls?
Sioux Falls, Iowa?
Iowa.
Or is it? I don't
know. Somewhere out there. Yeah. South Dakota. Anyway.
Yeah, it might be.
That it says, so-and-so helped me to break down all of the problems I was having in my relationship. All of my relationships are amazing. All right. Yeah, nice. And so you're able to then say, here's the problem. I fixed it with this person. And then you've got that mix of social proof. Mm-hmm. And not only that, but you are harmonizing with this because you aren't doing something that you shouldn't be doing.
Mm-hmm.
When Todd and I first started, we had a list of 100 things hypnosis helped people with. And I think it was like a fear of spiders and, blah, blah, blah. It was just this big, long list. And so we decided that doesn't work because it's like a scatter gun, right? Instead of a direct bullet. And so we weren't able to really get what we needed to get from our marketing because it was just all over the place.
Excellent point. Boy, oh boy, oh boy. And those are fantastic points. So just a list of questions. Do you have this? Do you have this? Is this going on for you? If so, book a consultation with me, right? That's an option to do. So you're kind of speaking to your pain points and asking them and asking those questions to them on your website. Another thing she said was list a number of conditions that you can treat so that those conditions are their pain points, right? Now they could be physical conditions, it could be emotional conditions, it could be a perceived solution. I help you get more clarity about what you want in your career, kind of thing, right? That kind of stuff. So there's just by putting a list on your website is enough.
Yeah.
Now, so I've got to wrap up. We're almost out of time. If these awesome ideas feel like too much of a stretch for you, if you're still like, but I don't know what to do, I still don't know what to do, or I can't get myself to sit down and do those things, you probably need to work on self-worth. Because I can promise you that if you haven't touched marketing, if people say things like, well, I know what to do, I'm great at helping people, but I just don't know how to talk about what I want to do, right? How do I talk about it, right? Well, we've said some wonderful examples here, but if you haven't at least had the willingness to figure out how to talk about what you do, i.e., there are a million marketing books that range from simple and easy baby steps to challenging, complex marketing plans for highly established businesses. If you haven't thought to pursue those things one step at a time, one rung at a time, and you're still stuck at the "but I don't know how to talk about what I do" stage, it's not a marketing problem. It's a self-worth problem. And you might consider it's the same problem that made you get so many damn certifications and not pursue the business more clearly. The business skill set is not the same thing as what makes you a talented holistic healer. So you got two jobs. If you're not moving the needle on this stuff, find a life coach, a good one, and work on the self-worth stuff. And if you are willing, and you're willing to read things independently, and you don't have to do it with a group of friends, because you are willing to pursue your success that you deserve, go to Barnes & Noble. Find a simple little marketing book. Jeffrey Gitomer speaks so easily.
Yeah.
He speaks in street language. I hear him talking in my head because he writes just like he talks. And everything is colors and bolded and underlined.
We like that.
I mean, he writes for the intuitive feeler. I mean, I'm telling you. He's got marketing books, sales books, all kinds of stuff. Don't be intimidated by this stuff. Just take some steps. Oh, by the way, I wrote a book called Selling Emotionally Transformative Services, and I say right in the book that it is written for intuitive feelers. And the first 3 chapters deal with self-worth.
Yeah, because we got to get through that part first.
You have to get through that part first. Find out where the self-sabotage is. Hopefully this podcast is making it loud and clear. If certain areas of your business are moving and not other areas, now you should have some idea as to why those areas are not moving, the ones that aren't moving. And do something about them. Do something about them. Don't settle. Don't settle for getting a job if you have 1 million certifications and you're a fantastic healer. Just Just learn. Just do it. It's not always fun. But I promise you, what I have learned is that, here's a great analogy. I was just talking to Josh about this the other day. We were changing oil. It was a pain in the ass because it was hot. And the metal expands when it's hot. So you can't get stuff off the car like you can in the winter when it feels like, oh my gosh, that was so easy. It took 50 minutes to change oil versus the usual 15 because the damn bolts were expanded and stuff. Any rate, it gives us time to get together. But I was telling him, since extroverted sensing is in our 3-year-old, for INFJs, extroverted sensing is kind of a stress reliever. So when we get to do things like that, it can really help provide some balance. So INFJs like us don't stay stuck in our heads all the time. That's why physical stuff's important, at least a little bit for INFJ. But at any rate, I was like, you know what, Josh, I remember when I was afraid of dealing with vehicles and, in my, 20s, 30s or something. And I remember that I wanted to get better at it, It wasn't, and I remember changing a front control arm or front track bar in my Jeep one day when I went all by myself, and I took it off, and I just went for it, and I took it off this giant piece of metal. I'm like, oh my God, my car, my Jeep is not going to run unless I can fix this. And I just put it right back on. Twisted the wrenches back on, drove slowly through the parking lot. Everything was fine. And that was one little baby step that I initially took that said, all right, I can do this. I can do this. And then since then, I've done all kinds of things, but I had to take those first baby steps because I was committed to be better at working on vehicles. I wanted to enjoy working on vehicles. I wanted to enjoy it. It felt like it would be a fun thing to do, but I was also kind of afraid of it because, what happens if you change your own brakes? Shit, what if my brakes don't work?
Right.
I'm still skittish of that, but there's lots of other stuff that I have done that has been awesome,
Yeah.
Changing out wheels and tires and drag links and working on control arms and calipers and all kinds of stuff that Jeeps need care and attention with. And then you get the social time with your friend. I mean, okay, so I like that kind of stuff. It's fun, and it's an outlet. It's a stress reliever. But at first it was scary. And you could say the same thing about marketing.
Oh, yeah.
I used to hate marketing in my 20s. I used to be against it. And now it's like I like getting better at it because although some of it feels like it's not my forte, it is something that allows me to reach more people if I move the needle on it at all. If I just read a pamphlet or read a blog or just go to Barnes & Noble and flip through a really, the Idiot's Guide to Marketing kind of thing. Just something that's easy. More and more authors are learning how to write for people who don't know anything about anything.
Yeah.
They got to. I mean, I was just watching Neil deGrasse Tyson and his book, what's it called? Astrophysics for People Who Are in a Hurry. Or something like that. And I swear I'm going to buy this book or the audio book because I love listening to him talk. He's an amazing speaker. I've been doing it the last few nights. In that book, he shares enthusiastically and well articulated all the cool things that you've heard about in astrophysics that you just want a basic explanation for so you know what's going on. And it's such a delightful way to put together a book for people who would otherwise have no interest or
feel like it's too far out.
Feel like it's too far out there to
understand.
To understand it.
Yeah.
You got it. So just taking the baby steps can make huge jumps in your ability to take your next steps that much more easily. So take the steps. Come to my mastermind group. You know, there's not that very many people in there. Everybody says they want a better business, but there are so few people who are willing to do something about it.
Right.
You know, they'd rather stay in the incubator.
That's a